you're going to hear our town name, and it's a connection that we're going to have with Israel. You never know what might be. So, I just told her she can tell us any and everything she wants to tell us. So if you need to leave, you can just fly away. Okay, here you go.
Thank you. Well, I'm not for sure if I need to talk with a microphone. I prefer to have my hands free. Can you understand me and hear me if I don't use the microphone?
Y'all in the back.
Or do you want a microphone? No?
You don't need the microphone. He said you don't need it.
Here you go. Oh, that's great. Okay. Oh, wonderful. So good to be here. Thank you for inviting Stacy, your husband, and to this wonderful place called the Remnant. Look, there's a lot to share with you tonight. So we probably will not run a lot of the clips. We're just going to tell the story. But I also want to teach just for a few moments. But I want to encourage you young people who are here. All of you come with your mom, your dad, whoever. I just want to say you're on the right path. Stay on a straight road. You stay on the straight road. You'll follow the Lord all the days of your life.
Yes.
And you won't make a lot of the mistakes that a lot of us made with getting off of path, okay? Even if you're the only believer in your class or in your school, stand for the Lord, because we're going to have hard times ahead. So I wanted to encourage you, okay? You're going to have hard times ahead. We're going to need you young people to stand strong. So thank you for coming. And this may seem strange to you, but in homiletics, when you go, my husband and I went to Christ for the Nations Bible College. And, in homiletics class, they always teach you to use visuals. So I'm going to pass this around, and I want you all, this is a sifter, like our moms used to use. Maybe the newer ones look a little different than this, but you'd put flour in it, and then you'd sift it, and you'd let all the debris or the stuff that might be in it and purify the flour. Yeah, that's what we did. And that's what we're seeing today in the church. There's a sifting going on, okay? And we need to realize that, because the Bible refers to sifting as a process of purifying us. And I've had people come to Jerusalem and say, don't talk to me about suffering. Well, I hadn't talked about that at all, but they had it such on their minds. We will never suffer. We will never go through a trial. We will never go through testing. We will never go through any of this. And I'm sorry to say that our Lord, He went all the way to the end. He didn't give up. And the scriptures do say, endure to the end, and you will be saved. So purifying and separation is part of sifting, because as we talked, Stacy and I talked earlier, it's so different to come home to the United States and not to see 500 people or 400 people or 300 people who want to hear about Israel. But today, it's a sifting process. And so what do I see? I see a remnant. And we're here today to talk to you, because your name is the Remnant. And before we look at the Word of God, I want to share a little bit just about this ministry. And it's encouraging to talk to Stacy, because she said, oh, we've wanted to connect with ministry in Israel. We've been here in Israel for 40 years. And this is our Ruby anniversary. So they sent me out to tell about the 40 years. Well, I don't want to dwell on the 40 years. I want to tell about the new generation who's moving on and crossing the Jordan. But what we can do is we can take a look, okay, and we'll take you to Jerusalem to show you it's not easy to start a ministry in a Jewish state that is Christian. And when we arrive there, just hold on. We don't want to move anything yet. Thank you. When we first moved there, we were surprised because we thought, coming to the Jewish people, we could tell them how much we love them and everything. Well, they surprised us by asking some questions. So the first thing I want to do is just explain our name. Christian Friends of Israel begun in 1985, the Master's Ministry. And we're not going to play the theme song tonight. We're going to move right on. And as we talk about it, and we can move on, it's the 40th anniversary. This is my husband. He passed away 3 days before the massacre in Israel on October 7th, 2023. He was my partner for life, and we really enjoyed beginning the ministry and carrying through with it together. Now, Dr. Derek Prince, some of you have heard of Derek Prince. Okay, so Steve over here worked for Derek Prince Ministries for many years and with Christian Friends of Israel, and we're still working with Derek Prince Ministries to get his literature all over the congregations across the land, which will tell you just a little bit about here in a few moments. Okay, so we were with Derek at that time. When we got there, it was very hard ground. Very hard ground. Because of why? Well, because they told us 2,000 years of Christian anti-Semitism. 2,000, how many of you know that if you study church history from the beginning, when the Lord began, it began as a Jewish sect of Judaism. And a Jewish man said to us, why didn't the Christians follow the Judaism of Jesus? Why not? Well, those are questions we didn't have answers for. So we had to find the answers, and so we had to work the ground. And so now that ground's been prepared, that ground's been worked, it's been cultivated, ready for planting the seeds and tearing down the walls, okay? Okay, let's go on, and here we are moving the stones of stumbling out of the way. You're gonna see a staff of 14 countries on our staff, and we're one big family. And this little man, this is a rabbi, that knocked at our door and said, Christians, Friends of Israel, I didn't know we had any. And he meant it. I didn't know we had any. And I said, oh, Rabbi, come in. We'll tell you all about the Christians. So let's move a little bit quicker. We received a prophetic word that you will never explode into the heights like stars. You are going to work in the depths. And as we worked in the depths, that meant we went into their homes, went into private lives. And Christians normally weren't invited to come into private Jewish homes. So the Lord opened the way for it. And I see your scripture. It's not by might and it's not by power. It's always by the Spirit of the Lord, okay? Now, let's go ahead. Let's move on. I saw a branding yarn one day. I am not a prophetess, and I'm not one who sees a lot of visions. But I did see the words healing balm come to me before we left the United States to go to Israel. I didn't know what healing balm meant. But we quickly learned when we got to live among the Jews. And so, Ezekiel's dry bones. You know, actually, we went in 1985 and left Christ for the nations. In 1985, they had been there 40 years, but they had no one to help them process what they had been through in the concentration camps. And so, as we saw them, they came out of the camps on the ship. Let's go ahead. You know what? It's not talked about much anymore because the church doesn't want to talk about it. But the Jewish people have a 2,000-year-old memory. And they realize that the Christians in Europe, particularly, and we were told to our faces, you closed the doors, you pulled down the shades on our people when they stood outside. And so our staff, as we go forward, tell you more about what our current staff is doing. I'm telling you just for a few moments what we met. It's changed dramatically. Jewish-Christian relations has changed. And we are no longer the foes. We are the best friends. In fact, they will tell you we're their only friends. This Holocaust survivor It was a Bergen-Belsen survivor, stood in sewer water up to her neck. Why? Because she was hiding from the Nazis to live. And so she told us her story. And she's the one who told me, I don't want anything to do with you because we're going to pass this. I'm going to tell the story. It'll be this way to allow us time to do more things tonight. When we got to Jerusalem, I had a German volunteer who came to me. And she said, you know, don't you, what our parents and our grandparents did to the Jewish people in Germany? I said, well, I really don't know because it wasn't being taught in our schools, okay? Not at that time. And I said, I know what the Nazis did, but I don't know what your grandparents did. And so she proceeded to tell me. And some of you, I can tell by your eyes, you know what they did. They did close the doors. They did pull the shades down on the Jewish people. But also they did something worse. Most German churches were located near railroad tracks. As the Nazi cattle cars carried the Jews to the concentration camps to be burned and to be murdered. And she said, do you know what our parents and grandparents did? I said, no. And she said, they sang louder. They sang louder while the Jews were crying in the cattle cars. And so this made a big difference when we came to Israel and we wanted to give a hug. No, I'm not ready for that, you know. But Seema, who you saw a minute ago, let's go on. Seema decided, we're not going to play. We're going to go on. Here I am with Seema, and we decided to work together. And she decided to take me to the Holocaust survivors. So I'm going to play. Let's go to the next one. You can see some of these are the real dry bones who came out of the camps and suffered very, very, very much. And we would go to them. But there's not a one, not a survivor that survived the camps that ever turned me away or my staff. Neither did they say, we don't forgive you. They said, we forgive everybody, whatever they did, because that's just the way they were, and that's the way we found them. One survivor said, I gave the Nazis my bread, and they came and liberated the camps. The American soldiers came and liberated the camps and gave them bread. And she said, I gave my bread to the Nazis because someone looked hungry. Okay, let's go ahead, let's move ahead, because I want to be able to do some teaching tonight. And here you can see the depth. Look at the depth of pain that comes through his eyes. That's what we met. And Grunia was a survivor from Western Ukraine. Her whole family was wiped out. She had not seen anyone. But before they all died, she was taken to a schoolhouse with no windows. And the Nazis stomped on her feet. Then he proceeded to tear all of her nails off. All her nails. When they were through torturing her, she was released. She walked into town square and she saw someone hanging on a rope, and it was her mother. And she said, do you know what would have happened? And I cried out, I would have been shot. She suffered 8 or 9 camps, and she had never had anything but a very dark life with no happiness because all of her family was wiped out. Plus, the torturing was more than I want to tell you about tonight. So we basically said, Lord, what do you want us to do? How can we minister to someone who has been so hurt? Especially when the Nazis said, we're doing this in the name of God. And because you Jews killed Christ. What do we do? And he said, she's never had a birthday party. And so we invited her to come, because she had said to us, don't talk about God. I don't want to talk about God. Because what did my mama do? But we decorated the kitchen, we baked a big heart cake, the hearts everywhere, balloons everywhere, little gifts for her, and we flooded her with the love of the Lord when she came in the door. And when she came in the door, the dam broke. All the pent up hurt, all the pain, all the wounds, all of everything. And it came. And from then on, her heart was soft and made soft. So we decided, it's not going to be by preaching. You're not going to shove a Bible in a Jewish person's face. You've got to show that your love is real, that the love of the Lord is in you and is given to these people unconditionally, actually. It has to be unconditional, because if they don't do exactly what Christian wants them to do, well, you can't stop loving them. You've got to love them some more and some more and some more. So that's what you're going to see on this film, okay? Let's go. And as she said, we ate all the grass and the leaves on the trees at the concentration camp. And now you can hear from a real Auschwitz survivor of what she felt in camps.
Each dot is done with a needle, and drops of blood ran out, but I didn't feel it. The truth is that the inner pain and humiliation I experienced at the time was so great that I didn't even feel the external pain of the tattooing.
Because I care, and I am so sorry for what you went through.
What is it, Mary?
I tell you, Sharon, from the beginning, that was for me that was not so easy with me. Christians came over to hell, and when you have given all your love for them, and they have been so happy. No one came open their door and give them love, ask them, or kiss them, and want to know about them. And in life and in time, this has changed my heart. I begin to believe in people. I begin to believe in not in Christians, that they are other people. They are not the same people that I have met in my countries.
Okay, so Seema's heart over time began to change, because she began to see that we were not like people she had seen in World War II, or World War I, or for the 2,000 years that she knows as a Jew of Christian anti-Semitism. So we began to hold events, and the lady with the hat on, take a look at her eyes, because she says, oh my goodness, it was a whole room full of Jewish people, packed full. And she said, it really is Christians who really love us. The next picture you'll see is the tears. You see the weeping, because it's our Christian friends. We had expected so much from them, and they didn't get it. In fact, their Christian neighbors were the ones who bought the eggs and bought the bread from their little marketplaces before they turned on them and watched them being thrown in pits. And so it took a long time to get over this, okay? And so Seema, I think we have a little clip here, okay? Seema again. We had gone to many homes now, all over Jerusalem and around the country. Did she have a voice there?
I have been under the Nazi occupation 4 years. For 2 years in Vietnam, I have lost all my family. I'm only alone from a very big family. And I've asked all my questions, why? I never understand why. What they want from us, from thousands, millions of people. And then I met you that have been years ago. And I tell you, you were the first Christian who came to us, and who is such a interest around her. When you give them, you kiss them, you love them, Jesus was a Christian people. I've never met such. I've never met. You have given us a belief. You have given us something. You changed my view, my heart for your people, for you people, you counted people.
Okay, let's go on to the next one then. Okay, so now I'm not here tonight to talk all about the past. I'm not here to talk about what we did or what we go, whatever. It's not the point, but what we did need, okay? And where we've advanced so far and what it took 40 years to accomplish. So now I want to show you the ministry, and you're only going to hear, even what you see tonight is only a portion, because we have, if we have time for Tristan's clip, I think we'll play that clip, because I think we have about 13 total projects altogether. But you're going to see, because of our staff from Germany, from France, from Latvia, from Finland, from America, from all over Europe, and all over the world, as one big family, what they accomplished. They work 5 days a week going out to the people. They do not sit at their desk all day long. They go out and they work and they help and they tear down the walls. You know, the veil in the temple was torn in two when Yeshua opened the way for the Gentiles to come in. Before, we couldn't go into the temple until the Lord opened the way for us. We came from pagan backgrounds, the Bible tells us. But a Jewish man told me, it was General Aaron, actually, of the Christian Nexus. He said, you know, Sharon, I went to a university and I taught the students. And he said, I told him, I've read the scriptures. And he said, it looks like to me that Jesus tore the wall down between us, but you all put it back up. I thought, oh boy, is he really right? Through the centuries, we started as a Jewish sect. And then, this is what the chaplain of the United States Senate said to the Senate when they were discussing a religious issue. He said, you do know that we started as a faith movement in Israel. And then it moved. Yeah, I know. Tonight is a night to listen and learn, because you'll only probably hear it in this group. You may not hear it again for a long time. But that movement moved to Greece and became a philosophy. And then it went on to Rome and became an institution. And then it went on to Europe and became a culture. And it ended up in America and became an enterprise. This is what the chaplain said to the U.S. Senate. So the way we started, and then 2,000 years of all kinds of things happening, we're going to learn where, hopefully tonight, the disciples of Yeshua said, be careful, when we die, there's going to be false teachings come in. And don't believe anything we Jews did not teach you. Do not believe in another Jesus other than what we taught. How many of you know that Jesus is a Jew? Yeah, you all know, because you're learning the Word of God. But much of the church only learns Christian education. They do not learn Bible education. That's what we've got to be a remnant. We've got to stand on the Word and be able to study and know that He and He alone has the final say. Okay, let's look. So we have teams going out, okay? We have teams going to Holocaust survivors all over the land in 50 different cities. And this was the last survivor on Schindler's List. She's the last survivor. We were in her home. And they go and they visit monthly. They sometimes all their birthdays are remembered, and they're like daughters and granddaughters, or great-granddaughters to these people who came out of the camps. We're touching them with the love of the Lord, and it's made a huge difference. I just don't have time to tell you all the stories and the testimonies. In 1980, the Jews started coming out of the former Soviet Union. And so when they did, they arrived here by ships. They arrived by plane, and we opened a distribution center. And how many came? Over 250,000 came through, okay? Christians began to send us, let's go ahead and just show these, shipments of clothing from the nations, because at that time they were just carrying their big bags. That's all the belongings they had. And then we opened a distribution center. Let's go on and have to talk about this. We decided, since they came and they stood outside, that we give them the Jewish scriptures. Because as Christians, we cannot give the New Testament. We're in a Jewish state. So we said, what did Jesus teach? Well, what did he teach from? He didn't have a New Testament, did he? So where does it tell about him? Where he'd be born, how he'd be born, when he'd come again, when he would die. It's in the Torah and the Tanakh. And so we decided to give them the Jewish scriptures, and we'd show them how they fulfilled scripture. And they would say, us? And we'd say, yes, because it came from the former Soviet Union. And this is the first time they were reading the Bible. So here we go, let's go to the next one. So we'll share a little bit about this pioneer ministry, because we are a pioneer ministry. It took 40 years of pioneering to break the ground and do all that we needed to do to prepare the way of the Lord. And so today, even at the distribution center, they're receiving the Jewish scriptures. Many, for the first time, they give us thumbs up. And so let's keep moving. And just to share, we have 2 arms, not just one arm, but 2 arms, like we have on our one to Israel, to reach out with Christian love and change and repair the damage that we inherited, and to prove that we're not like those people back there who received false teaching, and that we're with them. We're not against them. We're friends. We're not foes. And if we believe in Jesus, we need to learn a little more about the faith of Jesus. Okay, and I know you all know this, but we reach out and educate the church in different ways. We'll talk about that. And Israel. Okay, so this is our distribution center, which is by the central bus station. And this store, the Open Gate store, is still serving, giving appliances, sometimes large appliances if they're in need of them, sometimes smaller ones. They get coupons, and they can go shopping and pick out what they need that is necessary. And our Christian brothers and sisters in the nations around the world, we have about 28 nations, countries with offices of Christian Friends of Israel who helps us. Otherwise, we couldn't make it and be able to bless the Jewish people the way we do. Okay, so also we have a bridal department. We decided, why don't we just ask our sisters in the nations, would they like to send their bridal gowns to Jerusalem and let a Jewish bride wear it? Well, we got such a great response that, even a Jewish man in New York who was closing out his store, he said, send them all to Christian Friends of Israel, and I'll put new ones out this year. And so they began to come. So we help the brides on their special day. They come to us, and they, not only Jewish people, but Arab Christians will come to us. Christians from the nations who are working in Israel will come to us. Messianic Jewish brides, and then we get invited to the weddings. So if you want to send your bridal gowns or know of people who would like to send them, you can get it from our literature, which I'll share with you a little bit later. But what a special time when we get invited to the weddings, and then we get to talk and build relationships. That's the key of our ministry. So the word over Israel will remain, And the prophet Micah said that their enemies would be destroyed because Israel is the apple of God's eye. And unfortunately, I had an Orthodox Jew tell me, it's unfortunate that you Christians poke God in the eye. But that's what our ancestors did. And that's why we're trying to clean up this mess. And I can tell you there's a lot of Christian anti-Semitism in the churches today. Okay? I'm sure you know. So the boys on October 7th, what did they do? They weren't expecting. They had to have more soldiers. A lot of reservists were not on the battlefield, and they needed young men. And they didn't think that they're young men who are traveling to Switzerland or someplace on the Alps and backpacking and seeing the world before they settle down to have a family would come. But they said in the papers, our TikTokers have returned home. Who came home? They said, our people need us. Got on the planes, came home. A lot of them lost their lives, and some of them paid a heavy price in the war, but they came. And so they said, don't call us sheep anymore, call us lions. And they began to roar, and I mean really roar, from Jerusalem. We began to see miracle after miracle after miracle happen in the land since the October 7th war started. What did it do? It was a terrible, terrible, terrible thing with so many young people being slaughtered. But what did it do? It drove Israel to take a look at what happened and to seek the Lord. And so the Israeli army began to change day by day. And today, they don't go out to the field without singing to the Lord, reading from the scriptures, dancing together, laying hands on each other. You should see how they lay hands on each other. It wasn't us that taught them, that we got it from them. And standing shoulder to shoulder with their comrades in arms. Okay, so let's go. And what we do, we have a project, okay, called David's Shield. And we give them knee pads, we give them t-shirts, we give them jackets, we give them shoes, helmets, and vests. Why do we do this? The government provides them uniforms, but lots of times they don't fit. They don't fit right. Whatever's on the Rex or whatever's in the boxes. You grab your uniform and you go to war. And so we're trying to help improve that. It gives us as Christians an opportunity to say, we know that you are the army of Israel. There's no other army of Israel on the face of the earth. You've got to fight for the nation. Because who believes in the Bible? Israel and the believers around the world in Yeshua. So what we're doing, let's hear from them.
The IDF, who are about to go into battle. We wanted to thank you so much, Christian Friends of Israel, for donating this amazing equipment. It gives us so much power and energy for upcoming battles, and for giving us these amazing ceramic plates that will make sure that we'll come home safely back to our friends and family. Your donations mean the world to us. And thank you so much, really, from the bottom of our hearts. Have an amazing Shabbat.
So let's hear from a few more. Oh, this is Gerrit from Holland, and he ran into the soldier, and he didn't have very good shoes, so he said, you can have my shoes. And he gave them to him. And then the day of my life, it was very special, that I will never forget. I will never forget it. Why? Because I simply went along with the staff, and we went to a Golani brigade, and they were going into war. And before, we handed them all the goods that we had brought them, and they were very happy. And then the commander said something to me that I didn't expect him to do. He said, Sharon, I want you to go out and talk to the soldiers. I said, okay, I will. And he sent me out to the middle of a field, and you can see the next picture. It was 400 soldiers going to war. And so the Lord was good. We had a wonderful time together. They shouted after you know, what little I said, and they went off to war. It was a day of my life that I will never forget. Okay, let's move on. And of course, this is today. This is our staff of today, part of our staff. And this young man was having trouble processing his trauma of having to go to war. And one of the biggest things the Israeli soldiers are concerned about is how does the world look at us? Because forget the media. They've demonized everybody. They are only fighting to save the nation and the country. And so it's going, here's Abishai. He's a rabbi who works in young, and he teaches them the Torah and the Tanakh, and he's trying to teach the young people to know why they're fighting for the Lord.
Sharon, thank you very much for the equipment. This equipment is saving lives. It's not it's something that you can understand. People in Lebanon understand when the drones are attacking and everything. This equipment saved a lot of lives. So thank you very much for this.
I heard this helmet saved one life of a bullet hit right here, and it didn't penetrate.
I can show you hundreds of helmets in that and vests that saved a lot of lives.
Well, we want to give the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to everybody who helps us.
Okay, let's go to the next picture. And we're going to let the Israeli Defense Forces say thank you to all of you, whether you've been involved yet or not. I don't, probably not since you're just meeting us tonight, but how they're reacting to Christian love around the world. I'll come and sit by you. This takes just a couple minutes. Oh, first we will say that to live in Israel, sometimes the computer gives us a little bit of problems doing it. Yeah, it doesn't want to move forward. You can move forward. You can forget this one.
It's warm and hot. Thank you so much, Mr. Head of Israel. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian Friends of Israel, for all your support, for all the helmets that you give us. It's very helpful for the security that we do in the area, and we protect the Jews, and it's very helpful. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, my name is Steve Barber. It's an honor for me to serve over here as in Gush Etzion, just north of the south of Yerushalayim, north of Gush Etzion. So I'm standing up in Naomi. I just want to say, Christian friends of Israel, you guys are amazing. You're giving us these raincoats. These raincoats are phenomenal, especially the Phoenician coat. It hasn't heated by sea level. It's going to keep us dry. You guys are amazing. Christian friends of Israel, thank you big time. I'm Israel Khan.
תודה רבה לנוצרים ידידי ישראל על התרומה של הציוד עזרה ראשונה, של הפיזים, של החטיפים. זה עוזר מאוד לחיילים, זה מדרבן אותם ונותן להם הרבה מוטיבציה. תודה רבה. Christian friend of Israel around the world, thank you very much for all that you're doing for us. Here we are in Golani 13 in Israel. We really want to thank you. You're helping us very well to keep fighting for Israel. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah.
On behalf of Moriah's Snipers Recruit Squad, we would like to thank very much the Christian Friends of Israel and all the Christians around the world for the generous contribution of new helmets to our squad. It will very much assist us in our further missions here in the North. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For CFI and Laila, thank you very much for your love, the IDF, and for all the gifts you sent. God bless you from all the unit. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
So Stacy told me tonight, oh, we've been wanting to connect with someone in Israel. And And, come on your trip, and what we can do is take you with us out to see the soldiers. If you want to go to a camp, if you want to go to a high security base, if you want to go to, let's say, Shlomi, near the Lebanese border, the IDF will either take us or put us on the base, and you'll have a great time with the soldiers. They love having visitors and to talk to them. That's not the only thing. All of the projects, you can basically say, this is what we'd like to do, and then sign up, and they'll take you with them. You'll get the experience. We have ministry to the Ethiopian Jews who came from Addis Ababa to Gondar and came home on Magic Carpet and Solomon. That's one ministry that we have. We have another one to the trauma victims, hospital victims, the poor, the needy. We have a ministry, first fruits, to the congregations in the land of believers, Jewish Messianic congregations, helping them with their needs, and so across the land. So it continues on and on, and we encourage you, just stay in touch with us, and we'll help to make your dream come to pass in Jerusalem when you come to visit. Okay, so cloudy with a chance of missiles. That's what the newspaper said. Okay. Well, here's what we listen to. Let's hope you never ever have to hear this. Okay? But I'm concerned. Okay? That's all I'll say at this moment in time. He got a siren for us. When we hear this siren, we go to our sealed room, or we go to a bomb shelter. Okay? Okay, it doesn't want to play. Well, let's go to the next one. This is the shut. This is a rocket that hit us. There are no small things, as you can see. I will tell you this because I've shared this story before. One night they told us there'd be over 360 ballistic missiles headed our way. You know we're no bigger than New Jersey. Think of one missile. What you received on your phone right now? An alert. It says go to your bomb shelter. There's a missile coming your way. 360 some. All at once came our way. So we had to get ready to go to our bomb shelters. But the next morning, we were told. They said it in the newspapers and on the news. We don't know what happened other than it was God who showed up, because it was like someone who had a machine gun. All 362 and a half were shot out of the sky. He took care of everything for us. And when the Israeli Air Force went to Iran on a mission to destroy weapons caches and all of these things, one night I heard them really big time at night. There were 100 of them in formation. They just all went over to Iran, did what they had to do, circled around and came back home. They said when the planes got back home, and mechanics, you bring a plane in, you see what damage was done when they go on a mission. They said they had nothing to repair on any one of the planes. It was as if they had never left the hangar. So miracles like this happen. So many that I could spend just a night telling you about miracles. Okay, and so please be careful of your news media. The mainline news media is totally against Israel, and they'll report everything that they're doing wrong, but not the enemy. Sometimes policemen and security people are misaligned, and I just wanted you to see this Israeli policeman. There was a little Arab boy and his mother, and the siren went off. You'll see what he did. He gave his helmet to the little boy. a little Arab boy and told the mother to be close to him, and they got down and they waited. He didn't ignore them. He didn't push them away because they were Arabs. He helped them. So this is the kind of thing you're going to hear, though, on the news media. Israel did this and Israel did that, but they're defending. They're not attacking unless it's a weapons cache or something that would hurt people. Okay, and this father, he was walking with his baby, and the siren goes off, and he protected that little one. It kind of reminds me of Father God and how he puts his, over us, yes, and protects us. Okay, so now you're going to see one more particular big project that we have, and it's our rapid responders. It's men who come, and women help too, but like let's say from America, people who are carpenters, people who build, builders, construction men. They can join our rapid response teams when the homes are destroyed or damaged in the north, south, east, or west. And so almost every day, they're rolling down those roads, trying to go to homes to repair the damage that's done. They work as a team, they work as a family, they work in the love of the Lord. And what has it done? Just torn down the walls and opened up beautiful relationships. Here you go.
Here we are, we're at the site where one of the missiles came down. There are so many people who have just come together to come and help. And we are pleased to be able to come as part of CFI and be part of the group that's helping. So, it's just nice to see what we do again. It was a direct missile hit 2 days ago. You see there are buildings that have been impacted. There's a lot of rubble, a lot of glass. So we, as part of Christian Friends of Israel, volunteered, came out today with all volunteers from a lot of parts of the world to clean up and help the community of Beit Shemesh for the people to return back to their homes as soon as possible.
Those are the buildings we've been helping at.
So yesterday, my parents had a very hard time and a shocking moment with this bomb that we had. They were a few meters from the home. Ironically, they were outside the apartment and all the apartment walls, all the windows were exploded. They told us downstairs that there are volunteers that can help us. Team of the foreign volunteers, and I think it was the touch of God they sent, especially you. And I want to say thank you. My mother is grateful for what you have done. We feel your heart and your intention to help and to let us feel that we are not alone. So thank you very much for it. My parents, I think they will be back to their lives today.
God bless you, Auntie. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
I just want to say thank you so much. Like, I want to start with that because it's not usual to be in this situation. My name is Goal, and we're in Israel, and our house was stripped, unfortunately, by the terror attacks that are happening right now. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. Building relationships and friendships is one of the key things. Without building those relationships, we'll never be able to completely repair the damage of 2,000 years in our generation. Anyway, this is us today, CFI Jerusalem. So projects and outreaches and everything are going on, and of course we have prayer for Israel. Yeah, there's so much. If you go to our website, you'll see it on our magazines. And by the way, I encourage you to get them while we have a few left, okay? And this is, there are 10 magazines, which is equivalent to about at least a year in Bible college. Every one of them have teachings on Israel, important for the church. That you can teach them yourself, you can go to the scriptures, have Bible studies on them and everything. And see Steve out there, we have 2 packets, and he'll tell you about that. But I encourage you to get that while we're here. It's really extremely important to get the teachings. The nations are weighed in the balance. The judgment of the nations. The sheep and the goats and the roll call of the nations, and all these things will be in the magazines as well, telling all about our work. Okay. All right. So what do we got here? And of course, we visit the Druze and any other people that are around in Israel that need the love and touch of God. And of course, if you don't have love, you really don't have anything, because that's what the Bible says. You can preach and you can be arrogant and you can have spiritual pride. That's not what the Lord wants. He wants us to teach, to touch them. And when we touch them, it's Him living in us, touching them. It's Him living in us, touching their lives. Okay? So all the media, you got radio, you've got the Hall of Higher Learning. I hope that when we move into our new ministry premises, which we need your prayers and support for, to obtain it, well, we're going to hopefully be able to have internet access to be able to teach the church in a wider way. So you can go to our website, you'll see all of our media content that's out there. I think we're on just about all of it. And so I wrote my first book, A Principle and a Promise, and it did end up as being a pretty high bestseller on Amazon. And there are a few out on the table, and hopefully I'll be able to write our last story, if God wills. Okay? And here's some of our staff and our representatives from the nations. We have about 35 on staff. We had 50. That was our highest number. That's our goal. That's Tristan Hall, who is, we have a picture of Tristan here on this one, or no? That's, do we have it? I don't know. But Tristan Hall is our new young leader, and his wife Dahlia, and their 4 children. He's from England, she's from Scotland, and she was a volunteer on staff at one time. They're leading us now back home, and the staff is praying for us as we're out here in the nation. And I can just say, we're right behind him, and they're going to go right on and do exactly and expand and have new creativity and new ideas. That's what new generations are all about. But they'll hold the foundations, which is good, because Derek Prince and Lance Lambert and a lot of godly people, Dwight Fire from Ohio, all those men, Brad Young from Oregon, they were a part of our teams we met to study. So, we have a good foundation. Here he is, with his wife Dahlia, and the girls, and their new little boy, who just came along a couple of years ago. Okay, any more pictures on the screen? I must not forget. Okay, you'll see on the first left-hand side, our first office, which was in an apartment. The middle top is our first office at the Anglican compound in Jerusalem, two rooms. And then Natan Hanavi, the prophet Natan, our first home. But every time we moved, we had to move because we grew, we expanded, and so over here on Shivtai Israel means the 12 tribes of Israel. My husband remodeled the whole building and we outgrew it. And then the middle bottom Harav Kuk means the Rabbi Kuk was an eye hospital. And that was hopefully going to be our resting place so we could stay there, but they sold the building. So now we're moving to, if you want to show pictures, we have found a home. We need the help from the support in the nations. This is the Hall family again. We have a great relationship together and really work well, and I'm just privileged to be alongside of them. So this is hopefully our new premises. It's right across the street from Mount Zion. Yeah, Mount Zion. And it's a beautiful place. It will give us lots of room for expansion and development. And you people can come and join us part-time, or maybe some of you people or young people are looking for direction. You can come and serve for a little while. All of these, the good part about this building, it doesn't need a lot of construction, okay, and repair work. But we're looking for help out here in the nations to be able to purchase it, to have a stronger Christian presence in Jerusalem that will be ongoing for the hopefully centuries to come. And you can be a part of that. Your name can be on the building. And there are a lot of benefits that you can talk to us about if you do help. It will be Jerusalem benefits. It's a beautiful place where a lot of intercession and prayer and music and song and teaching, and everyone from the local community as well as the people from the nations can join us. So thank you for checking into more of that if you're interested. And I would like to spend a little time, I don't know, but maybe we have a few moments to look at the scripture. Okay. So if you've got your phone,